Tadej Pogacar has lost for the fourth consecutive year in one of his main goals of the season, and that further distances him from the legendary doper Eddy Merckx, the man who won Milan Sanremo 7 times in different ways. A 2024 edition that has been the fastest of all time, surpassing Gianni Bugno's epic record with Conconi and Ferrari's exclusive treatments, and much quicker than those EPO-filled exhibitions of the 90s. This can only be understood by the great improvement of materials and nutrition for today's riders, those marginal gains that have ensured that, in the edition in which Poggi himself has climbed the Poggio di Sanremo faster than the winner in 2023 and much faster than the doped Laurent Jalabert in 1995, a bully sprinter capable of withstanding the murderous pace of ascent in this edition ended up taking the victory. As Poggi said, the easiest edition in history, but, according to the Slovenian, it lacked 10% of his team, UAE Team Emirates. Probably a bad decision by Mauro Gianetti and the ineffable Machin, who had spent the previous day full of bravado. They believed that the world number one would have it easier than ever to win Milan Sanremo. Tadej has obtained his best result ever in the Classicissima. He has climbed on the podium in Sanremo for the first time in his career. He has moved watts per kilo similar to those of the winner in the previous edition, and it has also been the year in which he has been more ready to attack at the right time, a few meters from the top of the Poggio. However, the competition has gone back to him after the revenge of the grandson and son of dopers for what happened in the Tour of Flanders 2023, a revenge that could not have been done without the tactical disability of the UAE Team Emirates. Poggi came to this edition of Milan Sanremo really confident. After his attacking display with 80 kilometers to go in Strade Bianche, he was appearing in a much more important RCS Sport competition without having raced between the two events. No matter, the current editions of Sanremo hardly have anything to do with those of 10 or 15 years ago, when all riders had at least 10 days of competition in their legs. In 2023, Mathieu van der Poel had shown that with only 7 days on a road bike, you could win a monument. And both the world champion and Poggi decided to go to this edition of the Classicissima practically virgin. In the case of our beloved grandson, in making his debut after having made a new and totally innovative stealth preparation, a preparation we had never seen in the history of cycling, at least not since his father doped by eating pigeon pie. According to the son of Olympic champion Steve Ovett, a professional cyclist in third-tier teams, Freddie Ovett, the rainbow jersey had prepared like never before for this Milan Sanremo, with a plan never seen before in the history of the sport. And while Freddie was licking the arse of the child beater, the Alpecin rider motivated himself in training by listening to another legendary brat, Justin Bieber, and his unforgettable past hits like Baby, Sorry, or I'm the One. A peculiar musical taste that Poulidor's grandson enjoys while pedaling on his Canyon bicycle. Neither ketones nor drugs in the vein, Justin Bieber is now what makes a cyclist fly, dear listeners. Not only that, at every stop he was eating huge industrial quantities of croissants in small-town bars, the kind of place where YouTuber Cesar Blue would go, drinking 3 flat white coffees during every training session that made him feel more confident than Lance Armstrong whenever a journalist asked him if he was doping. If there are any experts among the fans watching this video, please tell if Mathieu would test positive in a doping control at any time for caffeine with such a large number of cups ingested. A new method of preparation, but one which cannot yet challenge the hyperbaric chambers of Kolobnev's hotels. For Van der Poel, it was still the debut of the campaign, a season in which his main goal is to win again the Tour of Flanders and eat some delicious hamburgers in the Tour de France, to win a stage and then clown around with the rainbow jersey before trying to become Olympic champion in Paris. However, for Poggi, the other big favourite, it was the big test he had to win this monument, against which he has crashed again and again, as Peter Sagan himself did in the days when he enjoyed Adela's protection. Unlike Strade Bianche, where he even assured everyone where he was going to attack, This time, the world number one did not want to reveal his cards. But his sport director, Jose Antonio Fernandez Machin, was already in charge of increasing expectations with statements about the best possible state of his rider while walking around the Piazza della Vittoria in Milan a day before the race, stating that to win they would have to climb the Cipressa at the best pace of all time in just 9 minutes, which would surpass the most doped climb in history, made by two legendary monsters like the one-hit wonder Gabriele Colombo of Michele Ferrari's Gauss team and the Ukrainian flying Pistard in 1996, thanks to his contact Pyotr Ugramov, Alexander Gonchenkov, when these strange beings climbed the popular Ligurian climb in 9 minutes and 19 seconds. If Poggi had subscribed to this channel, he could have seen how the doped Chiappucci attacked on the Turchino in 1991 with 150 kilometers to go, while travelling with Michael Matthews by car to Milan, and then he could have changed tactics. But UAE Team Emirates' plan was clear. Dynamite the bunch on the Cipressa and leave the group with less than 10 riders facing the climb of the Poggio. But Machin and Gianetti's team failed miserably. Few expected to see the irregular Brandon McNulty at the level of the Tour de France 2022, but many imagined that the doped Diego Ulissi and the alien of the 2020 year, Mark Hirschi, would help their leader in a terrain that was perfect for their characteristics, but neither appeared. Who did, and again after his exhibitions in the Tour Down Under and Tirreno Adriatico, was the Mexican monster Isaac del Toro, who, for 3 kilometers, made a spectacular climb. Sterling work that left the lot with less than 30 units. Work where the Aztec was more on fire than the elderly lover Thalia, sending a greeting to the Instagram followers. And that surely is taken into account by Poggi. He has to include this guy on the roster for the team for their next major goals. Del Toro did such a good, comprehensive job that, despite the inability of his teammates, Poggi rode the second fastest Cipressa climb ever, just 13 seconds slower than Colombo and Gonchenkov, but still not sufficient to get rid of the fast men like Mats Pedersen or Jasper Philipsen. Thanks to Poggi's best friend within the team, Tim Wellens, the Slovenian made the best ascent of the Poggio di Sanremo of all time, an impressive 5 minutes and 39 seconds, 2 seconds better than the Nichismo in the previous edition, and proving that these Martians are changing cycling, always clean, towards the right direction in the show. This time, Tadeo didn't get hyperventilated as on other occasions, and he attacked where he had to, when he had to. A first time to stun his rivals, and then a second time to leave them absolutely blown away at the top. He did it perfectly, but the world champion felt the leftover fat from his croissants leaving his body as he pedaled, and followed him with a power exceeding 7.5 watts per kilo to sit practically on the Slovenian's wheel. That was the key move of the race. Van der Poel was looking for revenge after Flanders 2023, and at that moment he had two options. He could work with Poggi and then go both of them for the win, or he could wait peacefully on his wheel while the king of the descent, Tom Pidcock, and Mr. Telescopic Seat Tube brought the rest of the candidates closer to the two favourites on the descent of the Poggio. And then the flip-flopping Jasper Philipsen told Van der Poel through his earpiece that he was in the best shape of his life, that if he was climbing Alpe d'Huez, he could beat the dictatorial Danish Anchovy and take 3 minutes off him. And then the Nichismo, ever grateful to his doped relatives, bowed to the demands of his new Belgian leader. Faced with attacks from outsiders like Border's Mathieu Sobrero, Tom Pidcock, who would have taken a Colombo like Boutron in 1996, Van der Poel worked like the best domestique ever and brought Philipsen closer to victory on the Via Roma. Surprisingly, Poggi's big Aussie pal was back in the bunch. But being a clean rider, he didn't dare elbow the Belgian bully in the sprint, losing sunglasses along the way, and at the same time, the monument he deserves in his career lost by a bike tubular. The move had worked out well for the Nichismo, who can now have great support in Flanders, and work as Philipsen's Gregario in Roubaix, so that the outfit that advertises doping for your hair will win the first 3 monuments of the season. Not so for Poggi, who rode one of his best sprints, fresh as a daisy and in insane form, beating Mats Pedersen and getting on the podium for the first time in Sanremo. He declared it was one of the best moments of his life. A sad third place on the day that you had the best legs of your life to win Milan Sanremo. But still, if they don't bang heads together at UAE Team Emirates and do it soon, Poggi will never be the new Merckx, no matter how many times they try to compare the two.